While the players at Magic City had a week off from their regular season, they still brought us fast and fun highlight action in the form of the first ever doubles duel exhibition event on Saturday night, July 25th. On Saturday night, 5 star-studded doubles pairings were fired up to square off in a 3-round elimination event. The doubles duel began with a knockout round where the first 4 teams to 7 points would move on to the semifinals, with the 5th team getting knocked out of the duel. In this round, Ron showed off his almost flawless play that fans have become accustomed to seeing from him in the recent weeks of the regular season. His consistent backcourt play, along with the solid defensive performance in the frontcourt by Legend, enabled this duo to secure the first qualifying spot, making them the #1 seed in the semifinals. Carballo and Ben were not too far behind, claiming the 2nd seed just a few matchups later. Anderluck and Jedin, arguably the 2 most outwardly competitive guys on the roster, were determined to advance to the semifinals. Though communication errors repeatedly sent this pairing back to the bench in the early matchups of the knockout round, they were able to settle down and get into a groove that ultimately secured themselves the 3rd seed. And then there were 2, Bueno and Bradley with 5 points against the sweetheart pairing of Kubala and Tennessee with 3 points. Both teams made a valiant effort, but in the end, Bueno and Bradley narrowly clinched the 4th seed with their overwhelming combination of power and finesse. The semifinal round featured 2 11-point partidos, or multi-point matchups. The first semifinal partido had the #1 seed of Legend and Ron facing off against the #4 seed of Bueno and Bradley. In this matchup, both pairings were neck and neck up until the last few points of the match, where conditioning ultimately proved to be the difference maker. As Ron and Legend began to run out of gas, Bueno and Bradley stayed firm on the court. They secured the W and their spot in the finals with an 11-9 point victory. The second semifinal partido had the #2 seed of Carballo and Ben facing off against the #3 seed of Anderluck and Jedin. However, this matchup wasn't nearly as close as the first one. Carballo and Ben wasted no time collecting points, putting Anderluck and Jedin in an early hole that they just couldn't dig themselves out of in time. Carballo and Ben won in a dominant fashion with a final score of 11-6. And so the 2 semifinal winners moved on to the ultimate event, the 15-point partido final. The final was nothing short of thrilling, with neither pairing giving up an inch throughout the matchup. At one juncture of the partido, Carballo and Ben held an 11-9 point lead, but Bueno and Bradley weren't going down without a fight. In a blur, the underdogs racked up 5 straight points and were in complete control of the match with 14-11 points. Carballo and Ben took a timeout in an effort to halt the momentum of the opposition, but it was too little too late. Just 2 points later, Bueno ended it with a picture-perfect carom, putting an exclamation point on the 15-12 point victory and the doubles duel title. If this is any indicator of what's to come for the rest of the season at Magic City, all we have to say is buckle up, because it's going to be one hell of a ride to the November finish line. Magic City will be back with its normal schedule this week, with performances Thursday and Friday at noon and 4 p.m., Saturday at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m., and Sunday at noon. Tune into the Highlight channel on YouTube to catch all the action. This week's Rebote play couldn't be narrowed down to just one Rebote. There were countless points that could have been selected as the top play of the duel, but there was just one point that stood out above the rest. This play epitomizes exactly what the Magic City Highlight League is all about, and it's certainly something that can only be attributed to this new wave of modern highlight. As Drew, one of Magic City's announcers, would say, this is definitely not your father's highlight, and all 4 Pelotaris here made that quite clear. With just about 3 years of highlight experience under their belts, this point reaffirms the notion that the sky really is the limit for all of these Magic City athletes. Some have claimed this to be the best point of the history of Magic City Highlight. So here it is. Take a look at what these rising stars of Highlight are made of for yourself.
This is just getting a little crazy. Nice backhand throw. Rebote coming out. 2-all Rebote rifled, scooped up by Bueno. Carom by Bueno, scooped up by Carballo, and it's going to score.
That best point maybe in the history